Hello, this is an instructional video on the Romanze by Wolfermann. Before we start going through this section by section, I would like to address the up, 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 up that you have in the middle of the second line, and then it happens one more time. And just in case you did not get the memo, in the middle of that second line, third measure, you are going to slur. Don't do an up bow because it'll mess you up for these staccato up bows, and all of those will be on an up bow. So I would like to play through that measure before we begin, and then there will be some other things that I can give you some tips on. So this is the third measure of the second line in the Romanze. 1 and 2 and ready now. So right there you saw I did all up bows. Do the slur. Don't ignore that extra up bow that they have written in there. That is an error, okay? And then that happens again a little bit later in the piece. So now I would like to take just the first little part of this. So we're going to do basically your first phrase. So ignore measure 1 where you don't play. And let's start together in measure 2. I have my metronome set at 65 right now. You're going to want it to go just a bit faster than this, but it is not a fast piece. So refer to my other recording so that you know exactly how fast it should go. Here we go. Measure 2, ready, set, and now. 1 and 2. 1, 2, 3. Up, up. So that's kind of your first phrase there. You'll notice I did a lot of vibrato throughout that section. Watch your rhythm with the dotted quarter and the 2/16. Make sure you time that correctly. Let's go on. The next section's a little softer, but very similar to what you already played. Very similar rhythms. 1, 2, ready, play. And 2, 2, 3. Here it is again. 1 and 2 and up. Rest. And right here you can just go on, wait for a split second and then move on when you're doing your recordings for us. That's totally fine. All right, next section's a little different. You're going to have some more up-ups, but they're a little slower than the 8th note up-ups. So here we go. Next line. Rest, rest. 1 and 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rest, rest. 2. Up again. Up, up, up. High 2. Down, up, up, up. Low 1. Reach the 4. Up. Good, and we'll go on in just a second. So you have at the beginning of line 5, it looks a little funny, but that is both up bows. So you're doing up, push. So it's a little bit of a break between the two. It's going to kind of sound like 2 separate bows, but you are going to do 2 ups there. So just a little clarification on that. Watch your accidentals here, F sharp, high 2, and then you have a low 1 for your B flat. So watch that section right there. It's a little bit different than the rest. So now you get a repeat of what you had at the beginning. So let's start right where we left off. There is an up bow G quarter note, and then we're going to go on to the next section. 1, ready, play. 1 and 2. Lots of vibrato. Follow the dynamics. Down, up, 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 up. Two, three. Good. So that section is an exact repeat of what you played at the very beginning. Quick note on the up, 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 up eighth notes, you can do a little bit of a slowdown. You'll notice that I did that in my performance with Mr. Link playing piano. So that's something that you can take some liberties with if you like. I would not suggest playing this with the metronome when you record for us. Just do it your own thing, but make sure that it's kind of at that tempo or a little bit faster than that. So this next section, I do want you to count through the rest because they're not very long. So we're going to start the second to last measure of that line that we were just on, and I'll count with you so you know exactly where to come in. On the C quarter note. 1, 2, ready, play. 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, 1. Up, up, down. High 2. Little softer. High 2. Get softer. Slow down this time. And off. You can take that retard at the end, but for the purposes of practice, I would practice it at tempo with your metronome, and then you can decide how much to slow down there at the end. In that section, you have some more accidentals, F sharp and C sharp, but for the most part, it's similar in rhythm. Just watch out for those rests, and even if you're not performing it with a metronome, make sure that you're really counting in your own tempo. Thanks a lot, guys. Have fun.